Hey y'all, welcome back to L&L Honeycomb Homestead. Today is the day to can up those beautiful white navy beans. So if you're interested in wanting to learn how to do this, stay tuned. The supplies you're going to need for canning is your funnel, your debubbler, your magnet to get your lids out of the water, also your jar handler. You're going to need some vinegar, some spice blends of any kind that you want to put together for your beans, paper towels, or a clean sanitized towel. You'll need some water, hot water. You will need some hot water in your pressure canner up to the level where your book says for yours. Mine says 3 quarts of water, so that's got to be hot as well. And your pot of beans, that's going to be hot as well too. Okay, really hot. So, and your hot jars. Don't forget them. So let's get started with the canning series. Start off with 4 jars. They're good and hot. I also have some meat here that I'm going to put in my jars as well. And that's going to bring in some flavor. Some of it's got some fat on it. That's what I like. And that's going to bring in some flavor. I also have my seasoning blends here. Okay. And we are going to be using a teaspoon to each jar. Okay. And it's just a mixture of some pepper, paprika, some bell pepper seasoning, some cumin, a lot of my favorites in here. And this is gonna make these beans taste very good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in the jar my teaspoon of seasoning blend in each one. Okay, set that over to the side. And I'm going to drop in some meat. Okay. Your meat is also warm. So you want everything to be the same temperature in here. Hot. Everything. Okay. Now I got my meat in my jars. We're getting ready to put in these beans. And we're going to start filling them. And you're going to use at least a cup to about a good cup and a half of beans in here. Okay. And we're going to add our water last. So you're going to get as much beans you can get in here. That's one. Two. And we're going to do the next one. I'm going to set this over to the side. Okay, I'm going to do the next. We're going to do the next one. Okay. Now we got that in. Okay. Now we're going to fill our water. Move this out of the way. We're going to need our little ladle. There's our hot water. And you're going to leave it up to a 1-inch headspace. Okay. And now to the next. Okay, and we're going to do the next. And the last one. To the 1-inch headline. Okay. Put the lid back on this. Put it over here. And now we're getting ready to debubble. And as you debubble, your water line might drop and you just fill it right back to that 1-inch headspace. Okay, do the next one. Okay, and the next one. You just want to get all the air pockets out of here. Okay, and do the last one. Okay, then you go back. Okay, get your water. And you're going to top it right back off to that 1-inch headspace. Okay. Put that back on. Okay. Now it's time to get the vinegar, and you're going to wipe each lid. You're going to check for cracks. You want to make sure you get all of it good and white. Caution, because your jars are hot, so you won't burn yourself. Okay, got 2 more to go. Okay, now that that's completed, now it's time to get our lids. Okay, and you want to put them right directly on top of your jars. Okay, now you want your bands, and you want to put them on fingertip tight. You don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on them. You just want them fingertip tight. Okay. And then I'm going to take these over to the pot, and then we're going to do the rest of them, and then I'll show you what we do next. Okay, family. So now that we got our 7 quarts are in the pot, you want to make sure when you get ready to get started that your seam in here, your belt, however you want to say it, whatever elastic is in here, you want to have it a little oil so it can be easy to turn on your pot. You want to make sure that you can see through this hole to the other side. You want to make sure that your pinhole is moving properly. And you want to make sure that this needle head here is also working. So now we're going to put the rest of your vinegar in your water. That helps with the discoloration of your pot and also your jars. So now you want to put your lid on, and for me to find out how I do that is there's an arrow right here and there's an arrow right here. You just align that arrow right on here. It is closed completely as far as the lid going down. Now to lock it, you'll have to turn it like this until you hear it snap like this. You make sure that your pot is aligned perfectly on your eye. And now we're going to turn the eye on up and get started with the process for the venting stage. And that's when you get your pressure. That's when you'll see the steam starts coming up from here. So when you get a steady steam, that's when you're going to vent for 10 minutes. And I'll bring you back on here so that way you'll know what that looks like. Okay? So right now we're going to wait until this pressure comes up, and I'll be back when our steam is venting the way it needs to be for us to start our timer for 10 minutes. Okay, family. So while we're waiting on our pot to build up pressure, for the vent, I want to tell you something. If you want to know what is your elevation in your area, type up on Google, what is your elevation? And there it will tell you how many weights or how much processing time you have for each individual thing. What I mean is, when you look into your book and your canning book, okay, for your pressure canning book, in that it will tell you what you have, like your weights, or if you got a dial gauge, like that, okay? With that, it's going to tell you you're going to need 11 pounds of pressure for your area, or you might need 15 pounds of pressure in your area. The only way you'll know for sure what that is if you go under Google and type up, what is my elevation? If your elevation is higher, then you're going to need a 15-pound gauge. And that's what I'm using, 15 pounds. Because where I'm at, my elevation is very high. Some places, your elevation can be lower than that, where you're only using 11 pounds. Okay? Now, the processing times are usually the same with everybody. Okay? It's just the elevation is different. So make sure when you type up, what is my elevation, there you will be able to see what your elevation is. And then you go back into your booklet, into your canning booklet, and it will tell you how many pounds of pressure that you're going to be looking for when you go through your processing time. Okay? So with my elevation, it's very high, and I got to have 15 pounds of pressure. For quart jars, I'm going to have to use 90 minutes, and for pint-sized jars, I'm going to have to use 75 minutes for pints, 15 pounds of pressure. So if that makes sense to you, that's all you have to do. Is just go and look up under what is my elevation. Okay, let's get back to the processing time. Okay, family, so now you're going to want this steady flow of steam. Okay, it's a steady flow of steam. And you're going to set your timer for 10 minutes. And you're going to let that vent for 10 minutes. Okay? And when that vents for 10 minutes, then you're going to set your timer for 90 minutes, but I'll be back on to show you that next step. Okay? 10 minutes. Okay, family, now that the time has went off, it's time to put my weight gauge on. That is 15 pounds right here. And before I set my timer for 90 minutes, I have to wait until this starts to rock. And when this starts to rock, then that's when I set my timer for 90 minutes. So now it's got to build this pressure up again to reach that max for the 15 pounds for this to be able to jiggle. And it's supposed to jiggle like so many seconds per minute. So when it starts going vigorously, you don't want that. You want it to turn down your fire. If you got a gas stove, if you got an electric stove, turn it down slowly until you get that slow, rocking, steady movement, okay? And then that's when you set your timer. So right now, we're waiting for it to build this pressure up for that to start rocking. And I'll come back so that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And then we'll go ahead and set that timer for 90 minutes. Okay, family, as you can see, it's got a little steady rock going to it. It'll pause and then it'll rock. You see that? Okay, so now we're going to set our timer for 90 minutes. And I'll be back when this whole process is over with. Okay, family, time is up. I have turned off the eye. And now we're going to bring everything down to a calm setting. That means that's not rocking anymore. The pressure is slowly going down, and you do not want to touch anything because it's too hot. Okay, it is too hot. You do not want to touch nothing. Okay, you want it to be completely calm. The way mine is, it's so hot that it takes longer. When I say longer, it takes about a good hour for it to just be completely done. You don't want no hissing sounds. You don't want none of that because that vent is still got some steam coming out of it. All right? You want it to be just totally quiet and calm before you do anything. All right? So we'll be back when all of this has settled down. Okay, y'all. It has stopped completely. It's already over. Now take the top off, and we're going to take off the lid. Remember, when you take off your lid, you're going to make sure you pull away from yourself and not in front of yourself, because it still has a little sting to it, and you still want to protect your face and everything else. So you're going to turn. Turn. See the sting. Pull it away from you. Okay. This over here by the sink. Okay. And there's our jars. And I'm going to start pulling them one by one up on the mat. Okay. So get my glove. And here we go. And it smells so good. Y'all need to get into canning and save your coins and stock your your shelves up. Quick meals, so you won't have to worry about cooking. You can teach your kiddos. Okay, y'all. So I had earlier today, while I was showing y'all this, I did 8 pint jars, and I have done 7 quarts today. And they look great. These beans smell so good. I'm going to bring you up close. Look at that. So I was able to do all these today. I did some plain ones because my plain ones are going to be for when I want to have some baked beans, and I want to have some already cooked up. All the beans that I'm getting ready to do, I'll be able to put all my stuff together and then put in my condiments, and that's a quick baked bean recipe. Or I can make some baked beans and then can them up so I already have them. So that way this can be a good taco dish. Because all I have to do is just strain it and then put my seasonings in with it and have my own taco beans mixture and all that stuff. So there's all kind of recipes you can have with this. So there you have it, y'all. 7 quarts, 8 pints. We have completed the canning series of the white navy beans. I did all of this today. Now you're gonna wait 24 hours before you do anything to these jars. After those 24 hours, you're gonna take the bands off, okay? You're gonna check and see if there's indentations, okay? If there's indentations in the middle, that means it did not seal, okay? Another way you can find out it did not seal is if you lift up on the band or the rim, that means it didn't seal. It's gonna just drop on you. So make sure you have something up under you when you do that, okay? The other way you can find out that it has sealed is that if in the middle, if there's no indentation in the middle, that means it's sealed, okay? Just because it's popping doesn't mean that it's sealed, okay? Just wait 24 hours. That way you'll know for sure. After you do that, you're gonna wipe down your jars. After you wipe down your jars, you're gonna get you a little sticky note type little thing, or you can get your pen, magic marker, and just write down the date and what it is that you canned up. Wipe down the jars really good, okay? Take these bands off, all right? Do not stock them up with the bands on. And then after that, you're completed. Put it up on the shelf, okay? So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment down below, and y'all, have yourself a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.